Now we have been seeing how there is no anatma at all. There is only one thing exists, that is called Atma. Whatever we see, whatever we experience, and that too, this anatma world, this unreal world, in reality they do not exist, even though we experience. That's why this text is a very unique text. Aparokshanubhuti highlights that when you have Atma Anubhuti, Aparoksha Brahma Anubhuti, you will never give importance to any Anubhuti, any experience. And what is Aparoksha Anubhuti, or you can say Brahma Anubhuti or Atma Anubhuti? The experiencing Atma, I am using the word very carefully, experiencing, or experiencing Brahman is nothing that other than Brahman or Atma, the self, nothing exists. Anything and everything is sustained by, supported by me, including my confusion. That's why here we say the knowledge, the chit, is inclusive of ignorance. Remember, knowledge and ignorance are opposite. Whereas when we talk about chit, the chit, the awareness, the knowledge aspect, that is inclusive of ignorance. And when I have this anubhuti, when I say experience, here is more understanding and abiding with this understanding. Because any logical person can understand up to some extent. Remember, the person who is teaching Vedanta in university comes and asks, I know everything, but there is one thing is not understood properly, called Maya. And who is the person who has got many years of experience teaching Vedanta, that too in university? So one thing is that understanding and abiding. So when we need to abide with this truth, with this understanding, we need to work with ourselves. Because when there is malam, impurities, because avaranam is taken care by the teaching. But when there is malam, impurities, and when there is vikshepa, projection, there is constant fight. That's why what happens when little bit things go wrong, I not only start questioning me, I question the teaching, I question the teaching tradition, I question anything and everything except me, okay? However, here is being highlighted very carefully that me is the truth, other than me, anything and everything is false, including my words. So with this background, let us go to the verse number 65, because we have seen up to 64. We can go ahead few verses. Sarvopi vyavahārastu brahmana kriyate janaihi ajñānāt na vijananti mrudeva hi ghatādikam. He says, look, very nice point. Gives the example of this mrut and ghata adi. Yatha mrut eva hi ghatādikam ajñānāt tu janaha na vijananti. If we look at the example, yatha, just as mrut, the clay. Now the clay is here material cause mainly. Now all the pot and its family, means all the earthenwares, pot, plate, glass, storage, all that are made up of clay, this earthen family, are nothing but clay. But to ajñānāt, because of ignorance, the person gives importance, looks differently. How? I'll give you a beautiful example. Let us say you have, because in our childhood we used to have, this saving the money in the earthen pot, so that it becomes easier to break. So whenever we go for any, local mela, yatra, all these things, so parents are very smart, especially they will hand over one. So that whatever money you get wherever, so you dump it there, only mainly coins, okay? And also we used to, there is a way also, you lift it and with the, different type of this straw, so you can pull it out also, okay? Because that time we never knew that through the, this magnet we can pull it out, okay? So we didn't have that much mind those days. However, whatever mind was there, those days was enough, okay? Coming back. Now, let us say this earthen, let us say, saving box was given by, let us say, grandfather. And after giving, that person has passed away. Maybe that was his last gift to me. Now, there is also another earthen box, saving box or some other thing. Now, will I see the difference between this box that was given by grandfather and other earthenwares or not? Definitely. Because there is emotion involved. And these emotions are nothing related to ignorance. Not that you should be dry person, okay? We are not talking Vedanta. Oh, it's only dry people. Some people say, oh, you people don't have emotions. Hey, who says we don't have emotions? You don't understand. Hey, we have emotions when you have too much emotions, so we keep away, okay? Keep ourselves away. Have emotions up to the level that is required. If you have too much emotions, please keep your emotions with you. Namaste. We have a beautiful saying in Sadhu. You know, there are two things. Very nice. You should understand Sadhu language, okay? Om Namo Narayanaya. It has got two meanings, okay? So while greeting each other, we say Om Namo Narayanaya. So in between, if we say Om Namo Narayanaya, now this is time for me to go, okay? Leave the place. Om Namo Narayanaya means I am leaving now. Also, we have another thing. Also, you should know this thing, no? This more kalambu, okay? You know, there is one particular dish they make out of this yogurt, okay? It's very nice. Generally, in ashrams, you should know this trick, okay? In ashrams, we never make this in the lunch time. It can be done in the dinner, not for lunch. Because if you want to get rid of any Swami, those who are staying in the ashram, so make this dish more kalambu, kadi, what you say, vas, that's enough. So the sadhu will understand this is the time for me to pack up and leave ashram. However, how these emotions that are in me, that is nothing but born out of ignorance or association with ignorance. And because of which I see differently, even though all are one and same. And so also, he says, Lok, sarvah api vyavahāratuhu brahmana kriyate janaihi. So tatha, sarva api vyavahāra. So all sort of transaction, kriyate, is being done, janaihi, by people, now is nothing, brahmana. Brahmana means in and through Brahman. Because in the presence of Brahman, everything happens, number one. Number two also, if we look at, this is called astika buddhi. This is what is called as, we call a religious bent of mind. Already I have mentioned very carefully, clearly. Until and unless you are a religious person, you cannot understand Vedanta. It's not going to work. Vedanta is not for non-religious people. Because there are certain values, especially acceptance, will never come unless the person is a religious. But what happens, most of the people nowadays come to Vedanta, those who are not only religious, they are non-religious people, and most of them are rebellious. And when I am rebellious, see, I can be rebellious being religious. Can you see the difference? I can be a rebellious person being religious, nothing wrong in it. So there what happens, I see the limitations of religious practices after practicing a lot or while practicing. Whereas when I am not practicing, I intellectualize, I literally compare some people, or I try to highlight my bitter experience with some religious people. Now I become rebellious. Then with rebellious attitude, when I look at Vedanta, Vedanta does not bless me. Why Vedanta cannot bless me? Because I will have lack of acceptance. Because this has to be understood little carefully, two levels. In the first stage is why I am highlighting this religious practices. When you are a religious person, at least for you, God is important in your life. For you, the goal is God. For you, the God is a prime relationship. Anything goes wrong with anybody in your life, you come back to the God. And as you come back to God, slowly you discover whatever has happened, whatever is happening in my life, it has a purpose. When you start understanding or you accepting this fact that whatever has happened, whatever is happening, it has a purpose, it is for good. Now the acceptance of situation people becomes spontaneous, natural to you. And once the acceptance becomes natural, spontaneous to you, now you don't waste energy to fight with your mind, with your emotion, with your thinking. And when there is no fight, then that mind is available for Shravanam, for teachers' words. That's why the first level here is to me to become a religious person, because that is how Vedanta expects those who comes to Vedanta. So we expect a minimum thing. Person must have, one's own God, one's own Ishtadevata, must be doing this, must be doing that, then only comes to Vedanta, okay? Not straight away lifting a person from standard 1 to what? Graduation. Then what will happen? You know better. So we think that we are smart enough to understand, but it doesn't work. So coming back to the point here. So first thing is understanding Brahmana. Every action is happening in and through the Brahman. So when we say Brahman, there are two levels. I am just going down a little bit, but which is not relevant in this place. If we look at from Saguna Brahma angle, so Saguna Brahma means your Ishtadevata. That means if you observe in your life, whatever happens, it has a purpose. Nothing is out of context. So that means you accept your prarabdha. You don't fight with your prarabdha. What is prarabdha? What you have done previously, either in this life or previous lives. And when you see this, that anything that is happening, all my action, including the sound that I utter, whether the voice is high or low, the way I move my hand while talking to you, the way I carry myself, all this has its own impact with my prarabdha, and that is nothing but Ishwaraha iti. So that means anything that is happening to me in and out is nothing but it is Ishwara's work. That is how a common devotee, a bhakta, looks at life. Clear? And of course there will be emotion and lamentation. Whereas when we look at Nirguna Brahma, one step, this is what our discussion here. Of course there will be no emotion. This is the difference. Same acceptance. It was earlier acceptance with A. Now acceptance without A. You understand the concept? But Vedanta does not teach you to accept. It will not work. Because if Vedanta starts teaching to accept, that means what? You don't have values. You don't have anything. That is how Vedanta goes wrong with people. Yes, I know how to accept. In fact, I accept. But with acceptance, always there is murmuring in me. There is some type of pain in me. Now, how to handle that pain, that murmuring? And that is being taken care by Vedanta. Do you understand the concept? But people look at Vedanta as ultimate solution without going through steps. That's why openly I can say, this is my personal experience, including many Swamijis I have seen personally. When they are supposed to spend time with Karma Yoga, they don't. They think they are Pahunch Gaya Mahatma, they are liberated people. They are Sthita Prajna. Then at the end, towards end, they spend time with the Karma Yoga. Because no choice. Here also same thing for anybody. When you are approached to, or when you are approaching Vedanta, or you are into Vedanta. So Vedanta teaches one thing, please understand. Whatever you are doing, it is nothing but Karma Yoga. Whether it is Karma Yoga or Karma Nishtha, indirectly Jnana Nishtha, that only you know. But outwardly, everything must appear as Karma Yoga. If it does not appear to outside world as Karma Yoga, that means somewhere you are not ready, you are not prepared for Vedanta. Continuing. Karya karanata nityam aste ghatamrudor yatha tatheva shrutiyuktivhyam prapancha brahmanoriha. Says, look, if you observe that always there is a relationship between clay and clay pot. And nobody can deny that relationship. Because wherever there is a clay pot, there is clay or not. So the relationship here says Karya Karana Sambandha. So one is Karya, effect. Other one is Karanam, cause. When there is Karya Karana Sambandha, the Karya, the effect, cannot stand out from Karanam effect. That's why we always try to bring out our psychological problem to the God. Because it's like, now I am having my problem with my parents. So parents are my karya, karana, not karya, okay, sorry. So parents are my karanam and I am karya. This is called psychological problem, okay? So they are the cause, I am the effect. But it's not exactly, but this is what people look at. Now what happens? So I can get rid of my parents, still I can stand alone. So also I can get rid of the God and I can stand alone. Can you see the logic? Then when I become helpless, I don't get any food anywhere, try all job, this and that, again finally, shamelessly, I go back to my parents and claim my rights there and get whatever. So also, when I try all my method, nothing works, then what would I do? Hidingly, I go to the place of the God. So whether it is a temple, church, or whatever it may be. Do you understand? With the sense of guilt, with sense of regret, I end off there. Is it healthy? Is it required? That's why here he says, look, this is to be understood. Karya cannot stand apart from Karana. This is the first basic understanding. Because this remote that is made up of plastic cannot stand away, cannot separate itself from plastic. Because plastic being the Karanam and this being Karya. Clear? Now, me being Karya or Karana? Definitely, I am Karya. When I say I, who is that I? This body-mind complex including my ego. So, is it Karya? Is it a product or it is the cause? Yes, my ego is the cause of everything, okay? But that for itself is a product, don't worry. However, when my body-mind complex is Karya, it has Karanam. And this Karya cannot stay apart from Karanam. In fact, in Karya, there is Karanam. And there is no difference between Karya and Karanam. Is it clear? Now, with this, let us understand this verse. So, Karya Karanata Nityam Aste Ghata Mrudo Yatha. Yatha Karya Karanata Nityam Aste Ghata Mrudaha. Just as the relationship of effect and the cause always exists between pot and the clay, Tatha, so too, Karya Karanata, the relationship, the effect and the cause, Pratipadita is being established where Prapancha Brahmano, between the world and Brahman. How? Shruti Yuktibhyam, here. Shruti means by the statements of scripture, as Shastras. You have been watching, quoting from left, right. And Yukti, common reasoning. Not necessarily supported by Shastra also. So with the Yukti, reasoning, and Yukti, that means in different context, Adi Shankaracharya is quoting different Upanishads, is being established that in Karya, there is Karanam. In fact, there is no Karya. Only ignorant person, only emotional person looks at Karyam and holds on to Karyam. In fact, in reality, it is Karanam. And moreover, please understand, most important aspect I would like to say. We say, this Karya Karana Sambandha, when you look at this particular point, very carefully we talk. Okay, I understand when there is Karya Karana Sambandha. Now, this Karya Karana Sambandha, if it is based on any material, Now, you can hold on to material, still you can see some type of modification, especially when it is parinama. You understand what is parinama? We have this, parinamavada, vivartavada. Do you remember or not? Or you have to bring back again, okay? Upadana karanam and nimitta karanam. Then upadana karanam divided into two parts. One is prathamavada or arambhavada or parinamavada. Other one is called vivartavada. Because these are the basic points to remember, okay? However, so here is being said, when you are looking at this, if it is karya karana sambandha, based on this upadana karanam, and that too parinamavada, so that means you can understand, still you can try to see difference. You can say plastic plus namarupa. You understand? This remote is nothing but plastic plus namarupa. Acceptable. Whereas here the Vishaya Vishay Sambandha is based on Adhyaropa Apavada. It is just a superimposed. Like how now you see the snake on a rope. The rope becomes a carrier for you that moment. It creates a lot of problem, the snake. But where does it stand? A rope. Now this adhyaropa, the superimposition that has happened, it is just because of my ignorance. Now, is there any difference? Can you say, after understanding, no, it is rope plus name and form. Like this. Here, you even if after understanding what you again you say, Swamiji, after all it is plastic plus. But after understanding that the snake is nothing but it was rope or it is rope, now can you say, Swamiji, still now rope plus my frustrated imagination. Rope plus my illusion. Will you say? And if you say, that means you are not able to understand till. You need to have more torchlight, you understand? Or to make sure, do some japam, go around pradakshina on that rope again and again, so that through the pradakshina your mind will come down slowly. You can look at that is not a snake, still it is a rope. This is practical advice, okay? We will see more of it. Om